Well, I was at work and I got a phone call from a lady that I take care of every day. When she called me that day, she was in a panic, and the first words out of her mouth were, "I am bleeding everywhere and I need your help." I just knew I had to be there right away. I said, "I'm coming right now." I hung up the phone. I literally ran out the door over to her home about a block away and went inside, and I went to open the door. Well, that is not what I expected to see, and it was a lot of blood. A lot of blood. I brought her into the living room and I sat her in the rocking chair, and I said, "What in the world happened?" And she said that she had picked a corn on her heel, on the outside of her heel below her ankle, and she said, "It just won't stop bleeding." I'm thinking, yeah, because there's a 2 by 4 foot puddle of blood, which I'll just call it from now on. It was 2 by 4 feet, and so when I looked down at her poor foot, it was literally coming out of her slipper. So I took the slipper off, and I was like, oh my goodness, this is arterial. This is so serious. So I put a death hold on her wound, and she has a life alert. So we called that. I said, "Annabelle, we are going to pray. I am going to pray. Don't be afraid." And I mean, I prayed so loud and so hard. It was like the presence of God was on us, and I could just feel the power of God. She was so calm. And I said, "It's going to be all right." And she nodded her head, "Yes, it will." The ambulance came and took her to the hospital. I followed after a little bit, met her in that room. And of course, everything is saturated on that lower leg, on her foot. Everything was a mess. There's a compression dressing on her at that point. And the doctor and 2 nurses came in, and they said, "Wow, what's going on?" And I told them, and they said, "We're going to get a pan, and we're going to wash her foot, and we're going to find the wound, and then we're going to take care of it." And they're thinking stitches, you know. Well, I was too, to be honest, because I didn't actually see it because there was too much of the blood around. So they came, and they began to bathe her foot with this sudsy water, bathe and bathe her foot, and now it's perfectly clean, but there's no blood anywhere. And they're kind of looking at me like, what really happened here? And I try to explain it to them where it was, on the side of her heel, and they're looking between her toes, and I'm like, it's nothing to do with her toes. And they're looking everywhere. 2 of them are now looking, and I go, wait a minute. So I had a picture, and I showed them the picture, and they go, "Oh my goodness, that's serious." I'm like, yes, and that was in 2 other rooms. That amount of it was in 2 other rooms. And so they said, "Well, we don't know what to tell you, but there's nothing here. There is no hole, there is no scratch, there is nothing." So he kind of just blew it off, you know, whatever. We'll get a little Band-Aid just in case. They didn't even know where to put that at. We both looked at each other and just smiled, and we just knew God had done a miracle in her life.